Have you ever wondered where farmers get drugs, feed, and everything they need to raise healthy animal? Today, I'm taking you inside a Active Motivate and Agro product to show you exactly how it works. Welcome to Agri Vibe, your world of agriculture. So I'm here at Latif Motivate and Agro Products. I'm with a professional veterinary expert who help farmers keep their animals healthy. Can you please introduce yourself to us and tell us what you do?
My name is Imor Latif, and I'm the CEO of Latif Motivate and Agro Products. So what we do is that we do animal services, animal health deliveries. We do poultry vaccinations, treatments, and we sell veterinary drugs, such as both livestock and poultry. And we do consultation too as well. If you want to go into any of the venture like poultry farming, cattle farming, pig farming, sheep farming, all type of farming concerning animals, we are always at your service.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So our first question to you is that what kind of service do you provide here?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, we provide consultation. Like if you want to go into rearing, poultry farming, livestock farming, we do consultation as to how to start your farm. We also sell veterinary drugs and equipments. We sell poultry drugs such as the antibiotic powder, multivitamin powder, dewormers, coccidiostats, and then poultry equipment such as the drinkers, feeders, and then the beakers. We sell all those kind of products, and we also sell dewormers for cattle, sheep, goats, all type of animals. We sell antibiotics, injectables, and then in boluses. We sell all those type of products.
Second question to you is that what kind of farmers come to you?
Okay, as a livestock officer or a veterinary officer, we deal with animals. So basically, those farmers who come to us are basically those into livestock rearing, like the poultry farmers, livestock farmers, pet owners. They do come to us in terms of services, like if they want to do vaccinations or treatments, they come to us for those kind of services. Yeah, I think those are our clients.
How long have you been in this business?
Basically, I'm into this business for almost 13 years now.
Wow.
I started somewhere 2013, May 2013. So
Wow.
basically, there was some 3 months for us to be in our 13th year.
Wow.
So we are in this business for almost 13 years now. Yeah.
We've talked about your business. Now let's talk about the drugs and health of animals.
Okay.
So my first question is, what is the common disease that farmers face?
Okay. May I know specifically which type of animal, or you are referring
Generally, common
Okay,
disease
generally-
farmers face.
Okay, to talk about poultry farming, especially both local and then the exotic ones. The most common diseases are Newcastle, fowl pox, gomboro, coccidiosis, infectious coryza, fowl cholera, and then sometimes ticks infestation. They do complain because that one too hinders them a lot. And for the livestock side, basically we have different types of disease affecting different types of animals.
Yes.
For the cattle, let's mention cattle. We have anthrax, which can even affect all warm-blooded animals, including the sheep, goats, and then the bears as well. But cattle, we have anthrax, brucellosis, CBPP, foot and mouth disease. Those are the common diseases within our northern territory, and the mange, which is known as streptotrichosis. Those are the common diseases in cattle. And then for that of small ruminants, sheep and goats, we have PPR, which is the number one. And then we have worms infestation. And we also have contagious eczema. We call it contagious eczema off. We also have mange in sheep. And then we have coccidiosis too in them as well. So those are the common diseases we do face in this our northern territory. And for dogs, we're affected by scabies. You know, this skin rashes, scabies. And then they can also contract rabies, but which is not common here. What they happens to get here, the scabies, ticks infestation, and then maybe sometimes we have this disease known as parvo. Parvo, it affects puppies here, parvovirus, and then canine distemper. Those are the major common diseases affecting dogs.
We would like for you to take us through some of the drugs you have here.
Okay. The draft we have in stock are the poultry drugs. Let me show you one. I'll just show you one of the poultry drugs we have. Antibacterial X. It's a popular known antibiotic in the poultry industries, and it is a broad spectrum antibiotic. That's like say it can take care of a whole lot of bacteria infection. When we say broad spectrum, meaning it can treat a range of bacterial diseases. That's why it is called broad spectrum. So when you are having challenges in your farm, this is the first aid drug you have to use, antibacterial X. If you have infection like coccidiosis, no coccidiosis, a Newcastle, and any bacterial infection, you can go with antibacterial X for your first aid. It will stabilize your farm for you.
Okay.
That's the kilo. We have in kilos and in half kilo. That's the kilo. We have the half kilo too as well. That's the half kilo, and they are all in stock. And we have the injectable for livestock. This one is antibiotic, and the brand name is Teroxy LA. So it is an oxytetracycline based drug, and it is also a broad spectrum injectable antibiotic for livestock. That's sheep, cattle, goats, pigs, all type of livestock. And it is also used in treating bacterial infection, not viral infection, bacterial infection, because it is an antibiotic. And then we have multivitamin for livestock. This one, the name is Olugovit. That's the brand name, Olugovit, but it is a multivitamin from Belgium, and it can also be used for both livestock and poultry. Olugovit is a very good multivitamin when it comes to uh, vitamins.
Yeah, my next question about the drugs and health of animals is, what drugs do you recommend to farmers who are beginners? They are now coming into the farming industry, whether poultry or livestock, they are now coming. So, what are the common drugs you recommend for them? Not because the animals are sick or something, they are now coming. What drugs do you recommend for them?
Okay, for a first time farmer, especially if you are a poultry farmer, let's start from poultry. What I would recommend is that before you bring in any birds from anywhere, first of all, you have to get your equipment ready. You have to get the pen where they will be staying. And then, secondly, you need to get your feeders and drinkers, because you don't have to bring the animal before you start looking for waterers and feeders. And you have to get your anti-stress, be it glucose or any of the vitamin that will release stress. You have to get coccidiostats available. You have to also have your dewormer, and then antibiotic mixed with vitamin. Those are the things you have to put down. And then you have to get your chick mash if you are to bring day old chicks. So basically, this is important because when all these things are set and the birds are in, you will not be stressed like to look for those equipment before the animals can feed or they can be sheltered. So basically, you have to get these items down before you bring in any new birds as a first time farmer or a beginner. And then to the cattle side, basically, we don't want them to be treating the animal by themselves. So what I would recommend is that they have to look for dewormer, like, so that when the animal is running, maybe basically they can do the dewormer by themselves. They also have to get wound spray, so tackle the minor injuries in the animal, like small cuts or bruises in the animal. They can manage it. But the injectables, I don't recommend them getting injectables because they can cause nerve damage during the process of injection, like paralysis and then other complications. So I don't recommend injectables for them. And then if you are a rabbit farmer too, you need to get something like coccidiostat, which is a prevailing disease in rabbit. So coccidiostat is very important, and then your albendazole, dewormer, it is also important in rabbitry. And then multivitamin, you can get them down before you bring in your rabbits. And then basically, when you are going to shipping goods production, the same thing applies to shipping goods. Your dewormer is your number one priority, and then what again? Your wound spray, like I mentioned earlier, those things. But injectables, I don't usually recommend injectables for livestock farmers, because farmers have said that when you give them the chance, they will do and do over. Either they underdose or they overdose. So basically, we don't allow them to handle those injectables. So those are the drugs I recommend for a first-time farmer concerning the health aspect of the animal, so that when they fall sick, they can start with the first aid before they call in a vet to take over the rest of the processes.
Can a farmer treat animal themselves, or should they always consult a veterinary first?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, farmers do treat, but it will be the minor aspect of the treatment. Like if there's any injury, like wound treatment, they can do it. Deworming, which is very easier to be done, they can also perform deworming. But injecting the animal with antibiotic, multivite, ivermectin, those are things that is beyond their reach. They don't have to do it. That one is self. That's what we call quack. They are quack. They are not trained to be injecting animals, but they can render first aid when the animal is in need. So basically, we don't encourage farmers treating their animal. They need to consult a vet, because a vet is someone who knows what to use at the right time and at the for the right purpose.
As you said earlier, some farmers are stubborn and they would like to do things themselves. What is the danger to the animal if the farmer use a wrong medication?
Okay, the dangers involved in using a wrong medication or self-administering drug to animals by farmers themselves are enormous. To mention but a few, we have something we call antibiotic resistance. Using the right using a particular drug over a very long period of time can develop resistance in the animals, and farmers, based on their experience, any disease they encounter, basically they are going for antibiotic. That's their main first aid drug, antibiotic. And by so doing, they are causing resistance in the animals. And resistance comes as a result of what? Underdosage, overdosage, and misuse of the drug. Because bacteria is said that if I'm to use amoxicillin to treat a particular infection, and I'm rather using a different antibiotic, by so doing, I'm causing resistance in the animals. And it will go a long way to bring a whole lot of havoc into my production. I'll not be able to treat the animal within a shorter period of time. I'll use more money before the disease or particular this infection will go away, and then I may even end up losing the animal as a result of wrong administration of the drug, that particular drug. So self medication is not the best. Usually they have to always consult, because it can lead to antibiotic resistance or antimicrobial resistance in the animals. And then when we humans also consume the animals, you know what will happen? Because they are using wrong drugs, the animal will have some residual amount of the drug in them. And when consumed by humans, what happens? We are also going to get a bit of the antibiotic, which we call antimicrobial resistance. So it can be transferred to humans too as well. So I don't encourage farmers injecting the animals by themselves.
We are going to talk about feed. Feed is very important in animal production. So my first question about feed is, how can a farmer choose the right feed for his animal?
Okay. Basically, when it comes to poultry feeding, we have various types of feed. To mention, but if you, it depends on which type of poultry you are really. Like if you are into layer production, broiler production, cockerels, so and so on. Basically, if you are into a broiler production, and then you are to start with the day old, basically you'll be needing a broiler starter mash. So basically, that one is fast growing. It helps the animal to grow very fast, because broiler at the stage of 2 months, they should be ready for market. So for broiler production, you have to use a broiler starter, and then start choosing the correct feed to depends on the reliability, the source you are buying from. Like we have well-known feed companies that are well known within the country, like Sankofa production, for instance. Their feed is very good. And then we also can talk about Kudis too. Their feed is very good, and the protein content is well balanced, and then the mineral and everything in them, those two products, they are very good. So choosing the right feed will depend on whether you're going to broader production, layer production, or cockerels. So before you choose any of the this, you have to know which type of production I'm going into before you then know which type of feed to bring in, because you can't be doing broiler production and then you'll be using layer feed to feed broilers. Basically, you are not going to get the desired results you want. So when you are into broiler production, you use broiler starter, broiler grower, and then broiler finisher. We have them in three folds: broiler starter, broiler grower, broiler finisher. And when you are into layer production, you first of all go for the chick layer mash. There's a chick mash, and then before layer mash, when they are about 4 months and above, you then change from grower and then to layer. Because for the first 1 month in the layer production, you will be using chick mash. When they are about 2 months, you'll be using grower. When they are 4 months, you have to change to layer mash. That's the time 60, that's 60, around 16 weeks. That's basically the time you'll be expecting that there will be a drop.
Okay.
So basically, when you see your first drop, you have to change automatically to layer. So choosing the right feed, as I mentioned earlier, depend on the type of production.
What mistake do farmers make when they are feeding their animals?
Okay, the mistakes farmers make sometimes when they are feeding their animals is that sometimes they overfeed. Overfeeding can lead to low production in the case of layer production. If you overfeed your birds, they will gain weight, and by gaining weight, they will not be able to lay to the maximum of their production. So overfeeding is one aspect which prevents poultry farmers from getting the desired quantity they are supposed to get. Because when you overfeed your birds, they will not only grow a big, but production will also go low, because they will be more fat to the extent that they can lay. And then underfeeding too, basically maybe you feed them once in a day, and then I expect them to give you more maximum production. So the feeding should be said that it will not be over, and it will not be they will not be underfed. It should be in a medium something level. So overfeeding and underfeeding basically is something farmers have been doing. And sometimes the feed quality, they don't check whether there are aflatoxins in them. Like when they grow mold, sometimes where they store their feed can lead to aflatoxicosis, and aflatoxicosis can cause death when consumed by your animals. And you know how it works. When they grow fungal, that's the growth. The fungal growth in there is aflatoxicosis. When there's this mold in them, it can kill the birds, and you are going to run at a loss, because you have to be looking for medication to treat them, which incurred costs, and then most of the birds may even end up dead, which is a loss to the farmer. And then the production will also go low if it is layer production, which is a loss to you as well. So overfeeding, underfeeding, and then storage of the feed is one aspect farmers must take notice of, because the feed has to be well stored The bird has to be well fed, and it shouldn't be underfed. It shouldn't be overfed too. They can buy a layer mash and still go ahead to add a whole lot of grains into it, thereby making the food not richer, because they want quantity but not quality. But so adding quantity, you reduce quality, and by so reducing quality, you reduce your production. So that's one aspect farmers also does. They'll buy the layer mash from you, and they'll go ahead to add what they want, because they want to reduce costs to maximize production. And by so reducing the feed quality, you are also reducing production. But sometimes they think they are smart. They've been doing it, but basically they will not tell you that, oh, I'm feeding my birds, but I'm not getting results. Sometimes that's what they do, but they will not tell you the real truth behind it.
So now the questions I'm going to ask will be about beginner farmers.
Okay.
So the first one is, if somebody wants to go into poultry or livestock farming today,
Okay.
what is the first thing the person has to know before the person go into either poultry or livestock production?
Okay. Before you go into any production, you have to consider your financial status. Finance, as they say, is everything. Because if you don't have the capacity to bring in a certain number of birds, and then if you are not financially stable, I will not encourage you to go into poultry production by bringing in more birds or more chicks. So basically, if you are going to poultry production as a beginner, I always advise you start small, so that you know the terrain, how it works. Because if you've never been into poultry farming, and you have to start with like say 2,000 or 5,000 birds, it's a whole lot. Basically, you have to start from 100 to 200, so that it can be beyond your capacity, so that's something that you can manage and manage properly. And then by so doing, you gain experience for subsequent during the subsequent years. Then before you can bring in uh, commercially, or you can bring in more chicks into your production. So basically, if you are a beginner, you can bring like say 50 to 100 birds. It will enable you to gain experience, and then your pocket too will not dry, or you will not be looking for funds somewhere to do your poultry production, and it will be under your control. So when you are a beginner poultry farmer, you have to start small, so that you can handle the challenges, because poultry farming is not a one-day job. It entails a lot. I'm not scaring people, but that's the reality. You have to be prepared before you go into poultry farming.
What is the minimum budget to start a small poultry farm?
Okay. Oh, it depends on the number of birds. Like say if you have to bring about 50 birds, you don't need more than 5,000 to start. Like 50-day-old chicks, 5,000 will do for a beginner, and then that's excluding housing, then the rest. So, but I'm capturing the chicks, and then the feeding aspect. So 5,000 basically can get you something like 50 birds as a beginner, and then maybe if you want to go to 100 birds, 10,000 can also take you to bring 100 birds. Yes, please.
Okay, sir. So like with the 5,000 for the 50 base,
Yes, please.
drugs, everything is included, excluding the shelter for them.
Yes, please.
Next question here is, how can farmers reduce losses in their production?
Okay, like it's just like a reverse of what I mentioned earlier. To reduce production losses, first of all, you have to take in biosecurity measures. Biosecurity is a key aspect of all aspect of production. Biosecurity comes into play when you take in measures that prevents in and out of disease into and outside your flock. And under it, we have biocontainment, that's containing a particular infection within your farm. Bioexclusion, that's when the outbreak is outside your territory, and you don't want to also get it within your farm. we have so many aspects of biosecurity, and we have quarantine, traffic control, all those. I can mention there are a whole lot. If you want to discuss biosecurity here, it's a broad topic here. So biosecurity, number one, they have to consider biosecurity as a major aspect of production. They also have to do early consultation, as I mentioned earlier. The earlier, the better. Early consultation with a vet will help to reduce or to curb all menaces in the farm or outside your farm. So they have to take biosecurity very serious, and then early veterinary consultation as well.
So let's talk about the business aspect of farming. Is farming or livestock production, is it profitable?
Yeah, to me, livestock production is very profitable, if I may say, because first of all, you don't need a huge sum of land before you go into livestock production. Even the landless population, or the landless, you can go into livestock production. Because if you are to go into poultry production, you just need a very small space, but you can get greater income from that small scale production. You are unlike crop production, whereby you need like 5 acres before you can plow. In fact, farming, if you have like 100 birds, it's more than somebody having 5 acres of land. 100 birds of layers, it's almost equivalent to 5 acres of land, if I'm not mistaken. Because what you'll be getting from the 100 birds, 100 layers, is almost equivalent to 5 acres of land, and you don't need a very huge space to undertake this type of production. That's the number one aspect. And then uh, when we talk about cattle production too, the same thing. You can go in for an animal that weighs or that costs like say 5,000, and within a year you can sell it like 10,000, twice the amount you bought it, which is a whole lot. Depending on how you treat or how you fatten it or how you feed it, you can get profit out of it. So production to me is more profitable than crop production. So if farmers should consider rearing as a business, like livestock rearing as a business, it will help the youths a lot, because this is what you can go into without securing a very huge land, without looking for a very huge capital to start with. 2,000, 5,000, you can start something. You can go into a small ruminant production. You can go into micro livestock like rabbitry, grass cattle production, snail farming. They are all type of micro livestock you can undertake, and you can get income from it. So basically, I encourage people to go into rearing than crop production, not because I'm a vet, but because I've seen the profit in it. So let's encourage the youth together, so that they will start producing more food or more meat to feed the meat industry. We will not be importing meat products or chicken elsewhere from the country when we have the capacity to do so. So the youth should step up to go into farming. That's livestock production. Livestock includes both poultry and then cattle, sheep, and goats. So basically, that's what I have to say about livestock. It is more profitable.
If somebody wants to go into livestock production in this side of the country that we are, the northern side of the country and the upper west, upper east, what kind of animal do you think will work for that particular person?
Okay, basically, in this our northern part of Ghana, animals that can thrive here are basically the cattle. That's the crossbreed. We have the ndama. Ndama is a cross type of cattle, and then the West African shorthorn, which is basically getting out of hand. Is now very soon it will be go extinct, because now almost all the cattle are crossbred. We don't have the wash, unless in typical Dagati communities, whereby you can get those wash. But within why here, or the one municipal, you cannot get pure wash within our distance. So wash is trips resistance. So when you want to go into cattle production, you have to consider trypanosomiasis, which causes havoc to livestock. It causes trips, and then that's sleeping sickness in cattle. So you have to choose a disease resistant variety. Like those Ndama cattle, they are disease resistant. They can withstand ticks infestation. The person can also choose this Jolonki sheep, and then Jolonki goats. We have the Jolonki sheep. That's the short type of sheep, and then type of goat, Jolonki sheep. The Jolonki, because they are disease resistant as compared to the Sahelian. The Sahelian, they are gotten from Niger, Mali. They are not disease resistant. When you bring them here, farmers faces a lot of challenges before they will become used to this environment. At the early stage of life, if you don't take time, you may end up losing your flock. So if basically you want to go into sheep and goat production, I'll advise that you go for the Jalanki. That's the short type of goat, the Jolonki sheep or the Jolonki goats. They are disease resistance, trypanosol tolerant, and they can withstand drought too, as compared to the Sahelian sheep and goats. So basically, that's for the small ruminant side. For the poultry side, okay, because basically here now people are into poultry production, so we can also go into layer fine, broiler fine, and the cockroach production, because all can strive within our region, and it depends on how well they are kept. Like concerning the ventilation, the room has to be more spacious. You know, poultry needs a lot of ventilation. If not, they will develop this time heat stress. Heat stress can cause mortality, and you may think that they are having some particular infection. No, heat stress, they will be panting as if, because of our weather. Considering poultry, the place has to be more spacious and more aerated, more ventilated. So poultry too can be done in the northern aspect, but some measures has to be taken place before you can go into exotic poultry production. And then micro livestock, I want to talk about grass cutter, rabbit, snail production. They can be done here as well, but I don't see farmers going into grass cutter production. I don't know basically whether the breeding stocks are not within our the range of the upper westerners or what. Basically, they don't do grass cutter here. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, basically we don't have a lot of grass cutter farmers here. So but I also encourage farmers to go into grass cutter production. It's also a profitable venture within our region. So grass cutter, snail production, rabbitry, they can all be done in the savannah, or is it the northern part of our region.
Sir, we are almost at the end of this interview, and I want you to give us one important tip every farmer must keep in their mind before going to animal production, or the ones already in the animal production. One important tips.
One important thing farmers has to keep in their mind is that they have to always know the type of production they are going into. Basically, they have to read around the subject area. Like if it is poultry production, some of the diseases can be gotten online. You have to know basically what type of disease that is affecting your animal or your birds. So basically, by so doing, it will help you to do early detection of a particular disease, and then early elimination of that particular infection. And it will give you a broader knowledge into what type of production you are doing, because you have to read around the subject area. Like if it's poultry, you have to know, if not everything, but most part of poultry production, from feeding, medication, biosecurity. You have to learn all those things, because basically you can't be a farmer and you expect somebody outside to come and be teaching you all those things. So it must be at your fingertips. And then to the livestock farmers, it's basically the same across all the farming aspect. You have to know what you are doing. You have to know that what I'm doing is a business and not a joke. You have to see yourself as somebody who can do it, not somebody who is trying to do it. You have to be self-confident and self-motivated into the production you are going to undertake. And basically, with this words of encouragement, you can step up and your production will also go higher. So you have to know what you are doing. Like you have to learn around the subject area. Poultry production, learn about poultry production. Sheep production, learn about sheep production. Sheep management, sheep feeding, the right type of feed to give to your animal. Do consultation as well. It's very key aspect in animal production. Don't do self-medication. Always consult your vets. You have to know all those things. And if there are challenges, you have to consult your superior. Sometimes when you do all those things, you get results without knowing that this is what I've done to get that kind of results. When all these things are considered, I bet you are going to get the right results. Not those farmers who take things into their own hands, do their own self-medication, doesn't read around anything, doesn't go about biosecurity, which we talk about earlier. You have to know all those things as a farmer. Yes, and it will help you in your production.
We end this interview. I get a lot of questions under my post on social media. Most people want day old chicks. I want to know, if somebody wants to get day old chicks, can you help them get those day old chicks?
Yes, please. If you want, if you're a poultry farmer and you want to book for a day old chick, we're always available. You come, we write your name down, and then we'll give you the date. The date the best will be coming, and the date you have to be prepared to receive your best. So it's not like you can book a day and then the best will be given to you that particular day. No, because we have to also send it to them, and then they will schedule us for the next consignment. So basically, when you book, we also have to send it to our suppliers before they can also rebook us for a particular day, so that you come for your best. So if you are in need of day old chicks, Latif Multivet is the right place to be. We can take your bookings and then your best will be delivered in no time. Thank you.
So their number will be on the screen of this video. So if
Okay.
you're interested in getting a day old chicks now, there is a place you can get it, and that place is Latif Motivate product. So
Yes.
if you're interested in getting a day old chicks, this is the right place to get it. So guys, if you're a farmer or you are planning to start farming, this is the right place to visit. Make sure that whatever you're doing, your animal production, you get the right results, because the right results is what everybody needs. So make sure you take the number on the screen. I'll put the number on the screen. So you pick the number, you call them, and you come to them. They'll for consultation, whatever you need when it comes to animal production. This is the right place to get it. So if you want any kind of drugs for your animals, if you're into animal production and you want any kind of drugs, this is the right place to be. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more videos like this. And make sure you drop your comment at the comment section.